It was strange for me that Russians are so closed.
And they asked me not to speak Russian outside, not to mention my nationality to other people.
A place where people stand for each other.
Why did you move to Russia from Italy?
Let's say the world is full of stupid people.
Wine or vodka?
Vodka.
Всем привет, меня зовут Дарья, я преподаватель английского языка, и сегодня у меня Маттео. Он
Hi.
итальянец, живет в Санкт-Петербурге, и мы сегодня поговорим о его жизни здесь, в России, о культуре и языках.
Yeah.
В первую очередь хотела бы сказать, что я не журналист, я просто учитель, поэтому, пожалуйста, не судите строго мои навыки интервью, точнее, их отсутствие, я бы сказала. Hi, Matteo. Thanks
Hi.
for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for hosting me.
So, what do you do in St. Petersburg? As far as I know, you're an Italian teacher.
Yeah. I teach Italian. I've been living here for 8 years already. I studied here at the university, in Polytech University, in English, actually it was. It was a very nice experience in the very beginning. I came here when I was 19. Right now I'm 27.
Okay, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. When I came here for the first time, it was actually very strange, so to say.
Why?
Because Russia, it's literally very different from Italy, I would say. So I was just like getting used to the environment, and right now, after 8 long years, I got used to it, and I decided to stay here because I actually like it. So I like people. I like live in Russia, life in Russia in general. I understand that from your point of view, it's a bit strange for an Italian to come in Russia, but I mean, it's actually a very great country, and I love my life here. Maybe one day I'll come back to Italy. Don't know.
Okay, I see. You said that you have been living in St. Petersburg for 8 years. Yeah. Have you been anywhere else besides St. Petersburg?
Yeah, I've been obviously to Moscow, Voronezh, Makhachkala, Derbent, in the south of Russia, also Rostov-on-Don, Kirish. Yeah, I just
Where
came
is
back
it?
from Kirish, which is not very far from St. Petersburg.
Okay, Leningrad district?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I
is.
see.
It's actually, I've been traveling to the south of Russia by car, so I visited a lot of small cities in between. I didn't really stop there, but those cities I mentioned, I visited them. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Really interesting.
Why did you choose St. Petersburg over Moscow?
Oh, that's actually a nice question. I chose St. Petersburg because I came here because of a school program in Italy. I was studying Russian at school, but it didn't really go well, to say the truth. I came here because of an exchange program. We had some Russians coming to Italy, and after 6 months, we came here to St. Petersburg. So it wasn't really my choice. I just came here and lived in St. Petersburg for 1 week. It was great. I remember I was looking in the cities, like at the city just like this, because it was... It has a really nice architecture. It is.
Oh, come on, you have also nice architecture in
yeah,
Italy.
Yeah, it is. But you know, when you live, how to explain you this? Like, we in Italian we say that it's better where you're not, wherever you're not.
The grass is always greener.
Yeah. The grass is always greener.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when I was living in Italy, I could not understand why people were coming to Italy. If you haven't really traveled, you cannot actually tell whether the whole world isn't like this.
Right.
So I was actually thinking, I mean, the whole world is like this. Why would you need to come here? Then I started traveling, and I've seen that the whole world is not like this.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a 15-year-old boy just living in Italy. You didn't have any idea about this. I came to St. Petersburg. I've seen that there is a really nice architecture, really lovely people. I got really in touch with those Russians who came to us, and when I came back here, we kept in touch. So it was, I don't know, really a warm place. Okay, I've just felt some kind of magic, let's call it this way. So Moscow didn't really have a chance, so to say. I just started from St. Petersburg. I came here, loved it. I was already keen on going to Berlin to study, but then I decided, why? I mean, I just don't want to study in Italy because I want to have an experience abroad. And so I decided to St. Petersburg. And here, because they had the only university which was completely in English, because I was saying I was studying Russian, which is, it was not my language. Right now I speak it, but still. Yeah.
Interesting story.
Thanks.
So yeah, I think everyone you meet is interested in the question, why did you move to Russia from Italy? And as far as I understood, because of the studying.
Because of the studying, actually, that would not be the whole truth, I would say. During those exchange, I didn't fall in love just with the city, but also with a girl. So we have been staying together for 7 years. Right now, it ended up. Unluckily, but still, it's okay. I think actually 7 years, it was not a lot. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't think of this as a failure. I just think of this as a part of life. It was a great experience. I don't regret it. But still, I came here because of these two reasons. Then, once I started living here, I don't know. I mean, these were the main reasons, but still, every single day I was finding new ones because people, friends, new connections, new studying or learning as well, especially learning culture. Because I've always been surrounded some way by Russian culture when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah. Because of my grandparents, they were communists.
I see.
They were communists during the Cold War. Italy was actually in between. I mean, it was part of NATO, but still it was like on the border with the USSR. So we had a lot of communists inside of the country, especially my region, especially my grandparents, who have been traveling to Russia when they were younger. They've been living in Moscow for 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I don't
Did they
know.
like Moscow?
Yeah. They really liked it. They were actually very sad when USSR just ended. But still, I don't know. They always told me about Russia, about this environment as a place where people stand for each other. And me as a person, I always feel like I want to stay, to be with people. I always like this, I don't know, let's stand together. We have a problem, a common problem, let's solve it together, which is something in Italy I see a little bit less, depending on the situation. If the situation is something like, let's cheer up, let's have fun together, that's the place. Italy is the place. Russia, it has this kind of appeal where, I don't know, people are like together. I don't know actually how to explain it. You need to be in Russia to actually understand it. And since then, I came here, I've seen it, I felt it, and don't really want to go away right now. I always looked at Russians as a pack of lonely wolves.
Pack of lonely wolves?
A pack of lonely wolves. I explain you. So everybody is like thinking about himself. I mean, in a normal life, in a normal day, everybody's thinking about himself. But if there is a problem, whatever it might be, nobody's gonna just stand there, take their phone out, and just film it. Everybody's gonna help. Everybody's gonna do something for it. Trust me, I've seen when people are just standing there making a video instead of intervening, instead of doing something, and that's awful. That's really awful. Here in Russia, it is like a pack of lonely wolves. Everybody stands for each other. If there is a common problem, then you become a pack. And this is great. This is great because in Italy, actually, it's quite the opposite. So we always are as a pack. If there is a problem, not everybody, of course, that's not the case. But if there is a problem, everybody is like thinking about himself first. I'm not that kind of person, and I like more the way Russian do it.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that's very nice to hear it from you. Such
Thanks.
warm things about Russia. I'm very curious how your parents react, how your parents felt about your move.
My parents always supported me, always, because in Italy, family is like a big thing.
Yeah,
so
it's something very important.
Yeah, it's something very important. You really need to have the approval from parents. It's actually like you need it. At the very beginning, obviously, mom and dad were not really happy about my decision. They were trying to, no, don't go, just trying to
Talk you out of it.
took me out of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks God there was my grandma.
Yeah.
That one, the communist one. She had money. She had a lot of enough money, so to say. And when I told her this idea, she was an English teacher. She always loved languages, and when I told her I want to go and study in Russia, she said me, "You want to learn Russian there? Yes. So you've got my approval. No matter what your parents say, just go."
And it helped?
Yeah. She helped me a lot. She and my grandfather. Once my parents have seen that I've got the possibility of doing that, they were more like keen. Like they okay, let's talk about it. Let's do it. Fine. If this is what makes you happy, then go. Yeah. So this is how they reacted, more or less.
What about now?
They're happy. They're happy that I've done this choice, especially because they see I'm happy. So, I mean, I think it's the dream of every parent to see their child happy, no matter the cost.
That's true.
We had this conversation not a lot of time ago because they came in Russia for the very first time.
They did?
Yeah.
When?
Last year in June.
Okay.
They came here in August.
What was the impression of the city?
They came here, they did not know what to expect because, of course, I was explaining them. But, you know, until you don't see the place with your own eyes, you cannot really
judge it.
Yeah, you cannot have an opinion about it.
Yeah.
You just have the opinion medias want you to have. And they always, what they said me, it was, we always thought you were telling us the truth, but probably exaggerating it. Now we are here, we understand that you were not exaggerating. You might have even like told us less, because we understand that it was very difficult for you to explain what is Russia, what is to live in Russia. I've shown them thousands of videos, thousands of things. I explained them. I had video calls. I had lots of explanation with them to them.
It can help, actually.
But it can't really help. As soon as they came here, as soon as they have seen Russia, St. Petersburg, because they have been just in St. Petersburg. Russia is not just St. Petersburg. They understood that the city I live in, it's great. It's a very nice place. They really wanted to come back. So they are going to come back this year.
That's great.
Yeah, because they really liked it. As soon as they stood in front of Hermitage, as soon as they've seen like this big square with Russian flag, with this column like there and the angel looking at you, it was... They were really impressed. As soon as they've seen also the, how's it called? The Victory Square. We have been there inside the museum. Lots of people outside Russia. Let's say in another way. Actually, people remember what the war is. Yeah. They do not actually remember it. They know it just because somebody told them. In Russia, it's not this way. In Russia, you actually remember it, not just because you lived it, but because you have lots of things remembering it. And it is actually something, a pain inside of a Russian soul, let's say it in a bit philosophical way.
I think especially in St. Petersburg.
Yeah,
because-
especially in St.
yeah.
Petersburg because of all this. And as soon as you see these kind of places, as soon as you see all this pain, they really understood. They didn't really understood. They started to understand what Russia is, especially in these two places. It was exactly the same for me, because when I came here the first time, they showed me exactly these two places, and I wanted them to see them, to see Hermitage and this Victory Square. As soon as they've seen it, they came out of there silent with no word, and the next day they told me, "We now understand." So, I mean, this is how they reacted.
Wow, I have goosebumps.
The less you travel, the less you understand the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty simple, but not a lot of people get it. So if you want to understand what the world is not white, either black. It's a big gray. There's a lot of gray, and you just need to go and see it with your own eyes. Otherwise you will never understand what it really means.
And I also think that the more you travel, the more you understand your own culture.
Yeah, definitely. As I always say, I started to love Italy as soon as I started living in Russia.
Yeah. You start to appreciate all the things that you didn't notice before. What was the most challenging thing for you when you moved here? Maybe the language, or perhaps you missed your home and family?
Language definitely was a problem because I didn't know it. I started learning it some way, and the more I was learning it, the easier it became.
Did you have a teacher?
Nope.
No?
No. The teacher was the street, so to say. I mean, if you're thirsty and you don't know how to say water, I mean, you're gonna die, so just better learn it. I would say probably food. That was a part to which I got used for a lot of time.
Really?
Yeah. When you go inside the supermarket, you do not find ready ingredients.
Okay, already cooked ingredients.
Not already cooked, because we Italians love to cook. I can make an example. If you want to have carbonara, you need special kind of meat, which in Italy you can find very easily. You get it in 2 seconds already cut. You do not need to do anything. In Russia, I entered inside of this supermarket. I wanted that thing, and I didn't know, first, how is it called? Second, how does it look like in Russia? Third, where to find it, or how to explain to someone what I'm looking for. And once you looked at it, once you found it, you are not sure that is what you need. So for the first 2 years, I have been studying your products, your food, in order to understand, groceries, and in general, what you have in supermarkets, just to understand how I'm going to cook my Italian food, which I missed, obviously. Yeah, in Russia, you like the raw product. So you like to have like this big, I don't know, big piece of meat, which you need to cut as how you like it. You can do whatever you want. I mean, that's great. In Europe, we prefer, like, considering that we need to cook faster, maybe. I don't know why exactly. But still, yes, peeled stuff, already cut in order for you to cook faster. Like, these are kind of products we actually have. In Russia, less. I came back to Italy a couple of months ago. I was missing my pelmeni. So I just went to a Russian market and I bought pelmeni in Italy. Yes, I cooked pelmeni. Yes, with smetana, obviously. Otherwise, no way.
Before you moved, had you heard any stereotypes about Russians? And if so, which of them turned out to be true?
Which of them are to be true?
Turned out to be true.
Turned out. Interesting. Because obviously I heard a lot of Russian stereotypes.
Like what?
I mean, about balalaika, vodka, bears. I mean, those
Typical.
those typical stereotypes. The same Russians already know. That you are already joking about them. I did not find some kind of stereotypes to be true, really true. Probably these Russian cold, being cold. Wow, I don't know if we can consider it a stereotype, but Russians are colder than Italians. That's for sure. That's for sure. We have it's a bit. There is a lot of difference actually in this kind of way, in this particular sphere. Russians are colder than Italians, but it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, you still, when you are in a company of friends, you can really feel the warm, the warmth, the how hot it can get in a nice company of Russian people.
It depends how well you know a person.
Yeah, exactly. Depends how well you know a person. In Italy, it's a bit less. So in the very beginning, it was strange for me that Russians are so closed. But yeah, but still, it was actually. You just need to get used to it. It's not that big of a stereotype. Actually, I've noticed that mentality among Russians and mentality in Italy, it's very similar. I've never had any kind of problem speaking about mentality, not culture, with Russian people. We have some points in which we might not agree with each other.
Your attitude to life is easier. Can I say that?
Where is it? It's easier.
Attitude to life.
Attitude to life in Italy. It's
in
a bit
Italy,
easier.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit easier. You want things to work. You really want things to work. Italians are kind of, yeah, but if it doesn't work,
No
it's
problem.
not a problem. Somehow we can solve it. So you love to build, to work, and to do stuff. Italians prefer just to chill out a little bit, just to relax. Differences in culture is what we actually need. Okay, it's not bad to be different. It's actually great. It's bad if we do not accept each other. That's the real problem. But if you understand that the other person might be different and they might have just a different way of doing the same thing, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It's just another way. Just look at it, watch it, learn it, and then decide. Do you want to do it this way or not? That's it.
That's right.
Yeah, you decided, that's it. But still, right now, you know that way and your way. So the world just becomes different. Just go and learn it. Just look at it. So, yeah.
So, I'd like to broach a rather complex and probably delicate subject, but I believe it's crucial to talk about it.
Okay.
So, a lot of Russians, not all of them, but a sufficient number, think that they may face hostility in Europe because of the well-known events. And I personally encountered such a situation when I was going to Europe.
Where did you go?
Yeah, France and Germany. But yeah, my relatives were just very worried and they asked me not to speak Russian outside, not to mention my nationality to other people. And actually, I had no problems. I mean, everyone was very polite and friendly. But I'd like to ask you, as a foreigner, what's your take on that issue, and what would you say? What would you say to people who are afraid of traveling because of that?
It's actually a very nice question, and I really want to answer it because it's a big question. It's a big question. We need to start from the very beginning. So we have, you said Europe. That's the first thing. Europe are a lot of countries which fought among each other for a lot of time, and in the last 80 years we have been together. So I don't really think of myself as a European. Really few people feel themselves European in Europe. So there is Italy, there is France, there is Germany. Yes, together we are Europe, but Russians usually tend to think of us as a whole. That
or
might
sometimes they call it West, just West.
Just the West. Yes, I totally understand why. I completely understand why you Russian think this way, because I live in Russia and I understand your way of thinking. But still, I think Russians should understand that countries are people. And people from each country, first of all, they feel themselves as people of that country and not of Europe, because we don't really see Europe. We see our country, which is inside of Europe. So Europe is something there, not really. It's not. You cannot really touch it. You cannot really feel Europe for what is my point of view. Some people might argue about this. All right, no problem. Let's talk right now about people and what do people think. Italians. So I can speak for Italians probably, and not for France, not for Germany or other countries. I've been to Italy after, before, during. So I have seen and I talked to a lot of people. Actually, I went. There was this project. Unluckily, we couldn't finish it with my ex-girlfriend, but we went and asked people, "What do you think of Russia?" Not of Russia as in the situation right now, just of Russia. Just who are Russian people for you as an Italian? I haven't heard even a single person who was saying something bad. Everybody was saying Russia, Dostoevsky. They were reminding me of ballet, Dostoevsky, SSSR, music. They were speaking about chess. They were speaking about a lot of things. Because people love people. In Italy, we are... Unluckily, I cannot speak for the government. But the government is the government.
Yeah, it's different.
If we're speaking about the people, then I would say the people have no problem with Russians. I want to say to you guys, do not be scared to travel, because in Italy people understand that you are just people. So yeah, this is the most important thing I wanted to tell. Just go, feel yourself free. Don't be afraid of speaking Russian. I told you I bought pilmeni in Italy not a lot of time ago. I went inside the store. Actually, I speak Russian every day. And when I entered the store, I don't know why, I started speaking Russian. And there were Ukrainians. They had absolutely no problem as well, actually. So, I mean, no problem. People are people. Governments are governments. Obviously, this doesn't really mean that it's for everybody this way. But, but still, just don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid. Italy, France, Germany, all the rest, I just don't know. I think it should be the same. Not sure. Obviously, you can always find, in Italian we say, actually, I don't know how to actually translate it, but we can say that just, let's say, the world is full of stupid people.
Yeah.
So obviously you can find that one very easily. But in general, I wouldn't say that this is a very big problem.
And the opposite question, how do Russians usually react when they find out you're Italian?
Depends on the Russian. It depends on also on the period of time. It was almost normal, like in the very beginning, because in St. Petersburg there were lots of different foreigners. After 2020, people started to think I was actually lying and that I am an Armenian guy who just says who is Italian. Because in 2020 it was much more easier for an Armenian to be here than for an Italian.
Sure.
So a lot of people thought that. Right now, everybody is like asking me these kind of questions, such as why are you here? Why did you move? I mean, everybody is always interested in it, and I totally understand it, as well as I am always interested in knowing why people are doing what they're doing, obviously. But but still, when I was speaking to them with Russians, I never had any kind of problem. They always, I would say 95% of times, they react such as, "Oh, great! Wow, you're Italian. I want to talk to you," which is great because I love having friends. I love talk to people. So I mean, it's a great starting point. But I do not really love to use my being Italian just to have friends. So I always try to move the conversation somewhere else in order to speak to the actual person. But yeah, a lot of Russians usually react normally to the fact that I'm Italian, even now, yeah. I would say in Italy, it's almost the same thing. 95% of time, you're Russian, great, tell me why. No, tell me why you're here. Tell me why you are here. What do you do? What happened? How do you like Italy? Usually they might ask. Here, Russians ask me, how do you like Russia? What do you do here? And so on.
Okay, now I'd like to ask you about some cultural differences. I think we can talk about it forever.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but so I wonder how Italian women and Russian women are different.
It's actually a very difficult question because everybody perceives it in its own way, his own way.
Oh, your way.
My way of getting it is like they're actually different. They are very feminine. Some of them too much, some of them too less, too little. So very, you need to work to do and to have money. They want a man who has money. They have a clear way a clear path in their life. So Russians always say, okay, fine, 20, 22, a house, a husband, maybe a baby, and then...
Not necessarily. Depends.
It depends. It depends. It depends on the girl and it depends on the age as well. In Italy, I would say they are more emancipated, probably. Also, I would like to do it to make an example with tattoos. You have Russian girl, a lot of Russians, not everybody, obviously, but in general, I see these tattoos on girls very cute, very thin, very soft. I would say not too much, too exaggerated. In Italy, I see these girls with masculine tattoo, like the whole arm, which is nice. Both of them, they're just different. I would say Italians are more aggressive, more. I want this, and pushy a little bit. Yeah, no, not pushy, not pushy. Russians can be very pushy.
Really?
Yeah, Russians can be very pushy. Depending, obviously, on the girl. It's a very difficult question to answer, actually, because you have Italians who are... They have a clear way, but they want to be themselves. They want to live their life. I mean, I'm a girl, doesn't matter, girl or man. You have your life, I have my life. We work and grow up together. It might be 50-50, which is something not everybody likes. For example, in Russia, also Italians get married later. So you have a girl who is more emancipated, who has her plans. She wants to live, to build a career, to have money, to travel, to do stuff, to have a family. If you do it together, they do it until they can. Okay, so 27, 28, 30, it might even be sometimes, but still they arrive at 30. Okay, so now we can get married, we can have children and go on with my life. But until 30, I'm going to live my life. A lot of Russians tend to do it earlier because in your culture, like as I understood, 30, it's too late.
But it's changing now here.
It's changing also in Italy. We are actually, I can see it. We are becoming more alike. Yeah, we are going to the same opposite direction, but to the same point.
Okay.
So in Italy, we started to get married. We are starting to get married a little bit earlier, or at least I hope so, because we actually need babies because Italian population is going down. And in Russia, I've seen like people started to get married a little bit later,
Yeah.
not at 18 years, when they are 18 years old.
I also heard that in Europe, sorry, I don't know
Not very.
about Italy, but in Europe, it's more difficult to get a divorce than in Russia.
Interesting. Yes, maybe depends on what. It depends where did you get married. If you want to get a divorce, you can do it in Italy. I'm not really sure because I have a very religious family, and I know how it is when you are religious. So considering that Vatican is another country, so you're getting married in the church, which means you're getting married in Vatican, not in Italy.
Okay.
Okay, so in order to get a separation in Vatican, you cannot, because Vatican it's the church, and the church does not allow this kind of stuff. So yes, in this way it's much difficult because you have to deal with Vatican itself. Because when my parents divorced, unluckily they divorced, they had this problem. They had to deal with Vatican, not with Italy. So yes, it was very difficult.
Interesting.
Yeah, very difficult.
Matteo, how many languages do you speak?
5. Yeah.
That's impressive.
4.5. 5.
4.5?
Russian, Italian, English, Spanish, and German.
Wow. What was the half?
German. Yeah, German is the half. I mean, I learned it. I spoke it. I could speak it. Right now, I haven't been speaking it for a lot of time, so I might still have some problems, but I mean, I'm sure that I can understand it. If I read something, I can actually understand it.
Would you like to learn a new one?
Yeah, definitely. You can never stop wanting. I don't know, for me, I never wanted to stop learning languages. I wanted to learn Japanese, Chinese, Arabic, Portuguese, and Greek. These are the 5 languages I still wanted to learn. I understand that they're a lot. Not really sure I will have the time to do that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But still, Japanese, it's probably one which I would like to, just because an Asian language is something really interesting. Either Japanese, either Chinese, and Latin. I would like to Latin, to study it a little bit because I like to compare not just cultures but also languages. So when you know Spanish and Italian, you actually can understand Portuguese because you know both these languages. You can understand French. So you just I don't know. I really wanted to learn Latin just because I like to understand.
Who are you going to talk to in Latin?
Nobody. No, really nobody. It's just more of erotic dream of a linguist.
Okay.
Nothing more.
I can understand. Yeah.
That's it.
Why did you decide to learn so many languages, and what advantages do you see in knowing languages?
It just happened. So I knew Italian. Obviously, I knew Italian, Spanish, English because of school. Then I went to at school. I had to make a decision on which direction to go, because in Italy we have a different organization of school. So we study 5 years, then 3, then 5. When you are 14 years old, you can decide which direction you want.
Yeah.
So you can study scientific direction, in the classical direction where you study Latin, Greek, and philosophy. You can have artistical or language school, which is the one I decided. So I studied German and Russian. With Russian, didn't really have a lot of luck in the very beginning. With German, it was much better, so I could understand it. I could speak it. Right now that I know all these languages, I can tell there are lots of pros. First, you get a better understanding of the world. You get a better understanding of your surrounding. Third, you feel much more sure. You feel secure in yourself. Like you really feel, okay, I'm going in whatever the country is, and I'm going to speak whatever language they will speak because I speak it, and I have no problem with, which makes your travel 10,000 better, 10 times better. Knowing languages also improves, in general, your way of thinking, like how open you are. If you get to the point in which you start thinking in another language, you can actually understand how the language in which you think changes the way you see the problem. You just get a better understanding of reality. So learn languages.
Okay, the last part, either or questions. You have to answer quickly.
Okay.
Yeah. Pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Pasta?
Because there are more dishes in pasta, yeah.
Okay. Pasta or borscht?
Pasta. I just chose it in front of pizza.
Okay. Pasta with ketchup or pineapple pizza? You have
Pasta
to choose.
with ketchup.
Pasta with ketchup or borscht?
Interesting. Actually, I have... Okay, borscht, let's say.
Borscht.
Yes, let's say borscht.
Okay. Hurrah! All right. Rome or St. Petersburg?
St. Petersburg. Because I live here.
Italian girls or Russian girls?
No answer. I mean, my girlfriend is Russian, so Russian.
Okay. Wine or vodka?
Vodka. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Why?
Because actually, I don't really like wine. I prefer to drink strong alcohol. Vodka is not my favorite one. If I can choose, I would prefer something like, I don't know, Amaro, Montenegro, whoever. Limoncello, let's call it this way, something like that, more sweeter. But if I have to decide between wine and vodka, then vodka, yeah.
Now you're a true Russian guy. Heat or cold?
Ooh, cold.
Cold.
Cold, yes. Just try Italian hot and then you will agree with me.
Matteo, thank you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to talk to you, and I think we had an interesting convo.
Thanks. Yeah, I think the same.
Друзья, спасибо вам большое за просмотр. Пожалуйста, оставляйте комментарии, задавайте вопросы, делитесь впечатлениями. Мы будем очень рады. До новых встреч.
Bye.
Пока.
Bye.